welcome back to our channel. Today I want to share you about translation technique. What is translation? Translation is rendering text from a source language into a target language while preserving meaning. Translation is written. While linguistic and cultural skills are critical, the most important quality a good translator must have is the ability to write well in the target language. Skilled translator must have the ability to understand the source language and the culture of the country where the text originated. Then, using a good library of dictionaries and reference materials to render that materials clearly and accurately into the target language. Even bilingual individuals can rarely express themselves in a given subject equally well in both languages, and many excellent translators are not fully bilingual to begin with. Knowing this limitation, a good translator will only translate documents into his or her native language. When choosing a translator, it is important to insist that the translator only translate into their native language and into an area of their subject matter expertise. And what is interpreting? Interpreting is an oral form of translation, enabling real-time cross-linguistic communication either face-to-face in a conference setting or over the phone. It can also be called oral translation, real-time translation, or personal translation. This is the process where a person repeats what is said out loud in a different language. Interpreting, just like translation, is basically paraphrasing. The interpreters listen to a speaker in one language, grasp the content of what is being said, and then paraphrase his or her understanding of the meaning using the tool of the target language. An interpreter changes word into meaning, and then change meaning back into words of a different language. An interpreter must be able to translate in both directions on the spot without using dictionary or other reference materials, just as you cannot explain to someone a talk if you did not fully understand it. Neither can you translate or interpret something without mastery of the subject matter being relayed. To be effective, the interpreter decides how to best convey both the meaning of the words and the context in which those words were used. This requires a high level of expertise in a subject area, current knowledge of different cultures, and a great deal of experience. Not all languages have a direct translation to interpreting correlation. It is important to note that not all languages have a direct translation to interpreting correlation. Some verbal or spoken have no written language. For example, American Sign Language, Piroha, and many indigenous American languages. Further, some dialects share the same written language. For example, many people mistakenly refer to Chinese to mean both a particular spoken and written language. However, in China, there are about 250 different spoken dialect that correspond to one written language, or Chinese simplified, and in Taiwan, they use Chinese traditional as their writing language. Examples of translation versus interpreting. A manufacturing company may hire translator to translate their user guide or instruction manual for a particular product into multiple languages, let's say German, Korean, and French. However, when speakers of those languages call in to the customer service center and want to discuss the product in their native language, then interpreters would be used to facilitate the conversation. A pharmaceutical company may hire translation service to translate their marketing collateral into Spanish. However, when a Spanish speaker dials into an English-speaking call center, they would need an interpreter to discuss ordering the product. And then translation technique. Translation technique is the way used to transfer message from the source language into the translate language. Applied the level of words, phrase, clauses, and sentences. According to Molina and Arbio, translation technique has 18 types as follows. 1. Adaptation. Adaptation replaces the cultural elements of a type in the source language with cultural elements that exist within the translated language. This technique can be used if the element or elements of the sculptures have equivalence in the TL. For example, SL, the film swept the world. TL, film ini merambah dunia. Number 2, amplification or addition. Addition adds information that basically doesn't exist in the source sentences. The presence of additional information in the target sentences is intended to further clarify the concept conveyed the original authors to the readers. This technique is only the information that it used to assist in delivering the message to the reader. This addition may not modify message in the source language. SL, the girl came late. TL, wanita muda itu datang terlambat. 3. Borrowing. Borrowing use words and phrase when translated to the source language into the target language. Borrowing can be a pure borrowing without making any change. For example, the word setting, or in the form of natural borrowing or naturalized borrowing, where the word of the SL were matched with the spelling of the TL. Is the word panic, which comes from the word panic. 4. Colloquy. Colloquy technique is a literal translation of a word or phrase and translating the source language into the target language. For example, SL. He is the new teacher. TL. Dia adalah guru yang baru. 5. Compensation. Compensation replaces the item information or position effect in the SL into in other parts of the TL because it cannot be realized in the same section in the SL. For example, SL, a pair of trousers. TL, sebuah celana. 6. Description. Description replaces the term into the source language with the description in the target language. This technique is used when a term in the source language doesn't have a term in the target language. For example, SL. I like getuk. TL. Saya suka getuk, makanan tradisional Jawa terbuat dari singkong. Number 7. Discursive creation. Discursive creation, use of equivalent translation technique while away from their original context. This technique often appears in the translation of titles of movies, books, and novels. For example, SL, The Godfather. TL, Sang Godfather. Number 8. Stabilized equivalence. Stabilized equivalence translate terms in the source language term that is already prevalent in the target language. The term in the source language is generally based on the dictionary or browser daily. For example, SL, sincerely yours. TL, hormat kami. Number 9. Generalization. Generalization translates a term with the term that is already well known in public and known to the wider community. This technique is used when a term in the source language refers to a specific section which parallel in the target language doesn't exist and refers to the same section. For example, bajai is translated to vehicle. Number 10. Linguistic amplification. Linguistic amplification as element of linguistic from SL into the TL. This technique is often used in interpreting or dubbing. SL, everything is up to you. TL, semuanya terserah Anda sendiri. Number 11. Linguistic compression. Linguistic compression unites or collects the linguistic elements that exist in the SL. This technique is often used in interpreting or dubbing. For example, SL, are you hungry? TL, lapar. Number 12. Literal translation. Literal translation translates an expression in SL into the word into the TL. For example, SL, I will love you. TL, aku akan mencintai kamu. Number 13. Modulation. Modulation replaces focus the point of view on the cognitive aspect that exists in the SL, either lexical or structural. For example, SL, nobody doesn't like it. TL, semua orang menyukainya. Number 14. Particularization. Particularization uses terms that are more concrete and specific. The technique contrasts with the technique of generalization. For example, SL, the girl likes to collect jewelry. TL, gadis itu senang mengkoleksi kalung emas. Number 15. Reduction. Reduction condense the information contained in the source language into the target language. Compacting of information should not alter the text of the message in the source language. For example, SL. The boy got a car accident. TL. Lelaki itu mengalami kecelakaan. Number 16. Substitution. Substitution replaces the linguistic element into paralinguistic, or such as intonation and gesture, or vice versa. For example, nodding head in Indonesia translate yes. Number 17. Transposition. Transposition replaces the grammatical categories of the source language into the target language. For example, replacing the word become precise. This technique is usually used because of a different grammar between SL and TL. For example, SL. I have no control over the position and the condition. I have no control over this condition. TL. Saya tidak dapat mengendalikan kondisi ini. Number 18. The last is variation. Variation replaces linguistic element and paralinguistic, which influence the linguistic variable. For example, a textual change of tone, style, geographical dialect and social. For example, SL. Give it to me now. TL. Berikan buku itu ke gue sekarang. There is enough for this vlog, and thank you for watching this vlog. See you in the next vlog. Thank you.